afternoon, Blazers, and welcome back to InfoFlow from home. Today is Thursday, April 15th. I'm Amina.
And I'm Sam. In local news, Montgomery County has surpassed 68,260 cases of COVID-19 as of Wednesday, April 14th. According to the Maryland Department of Health, just over 24.9% of Montgomery's population has been fully vaccinated against COVID-19, and 41.8% have received their first dose.
Next week marks the beginning of the simultaneous learning model for Blair. Students who indicated that they would return to school will have the opportunity to attend their classes in person, following a schedule based on grade level. 9th graders will return first on Monday and Tuesday. 10th graders will go in on Thursday and Friday. 11th and 12th graders will go in the following week. Be on the lookout for emails from your administrators with more details.
In national news, the prosecution has rested its case in the trial of Derek Chauvin. The defense called their first 6 witnesses to the stand Tuesday and plan to continue hearing witnesses' testimony today. They aim to prove that Chauvin's use of force was justified and did not ultimately lead to the death of George Floyd.
Now let's take a final look at the Purple Line and see how officials are working to prevent gentrification.
Construction for the Purple Line, a $2 billion light rail project that will span from New Carrollton to Bethesda, is well underway. And upon completion, it is expected to provide much-needed transit to underserved communities throughout Montgomery and Prince George's counties. The Purple Line will create a new corridor that will draw in businesses and redevelopment, which has led to concerns from some locals regarding gentrification and rent hikes in working-class neighborhoods like Langley Park or Hyattsville. The Purple Line Corridor Coalition has issued a plan to combat gentrification along the route, suggesting increases in public funds to construct affordable housing, the deployment of low-cost loans and down payments to assist longtime residents, and the strengthening of tenant protection laws. We spoke to at-large councilmember Will Jawando, who has drafted an anti-rent gouging measure which will cap rent hikes at 2.6% at locations within a mile of MARC, Metro, or Purple Line stations.
I grew up on this Purple Line corridor in Long Branch, and that is an area where you have naturally occurring affordable housing, or NOAA, where mostly immigrant people of color live. We need to be very concerned about, and I am, and others are, of how we make sure that we don't see that type of kind of large-scale displacement.
In wealthier communities, officials are actually concerned about the adverse effects the Purple Line will have on property values, with some claiming that the light rail project will actually lower some home values. We spoke to Barney Rush, the former mayor of Chevy Chase, about these concerns.
There have been a number of sales of the properties, of the 36 properties I mentioned, and I think it's fair to say that the value of those properties went down once it was clear that the train was going to go in. We're more concerned about the impact on our community and probably don't see as much advantage to our town as might be true of people who live elsewhere.
Councilmember Jawando happens to believe these claims are overblown. This seems to be backed up by the data, as housing prices in Chevy Chase have gone up considerably since 2019, according to Redfin.com.
The areas that are close to transit, they are the most expensive areas to live, particularly in areas like Bethesda, where there is already a high desire to live there and prices are already high. So I don't think you'll see a lowering of prices.
When it is completed in 2024, the Purple Line will have transformational effects on the community at large, but it is important that officials don't forget about the residents that the Purple Line stands to benefit the most, and provide affordable housing to those along the corridor. I'm Nathaniel, reporting for BNC.
For more updates and information on the Purple Line, you can visit the link below.
Student commuters, listen up. Ride-on buses will continue to be free of charge moving into late June. As many students will be returning to school within the next few weeks, public transportation is a huge aid to our Blazers. When you are on the bus, you do not need to show your student ID or tell the driver that you are a student.
In Montgomery County news, county council members have banded together to create a committee to, quote, explore the social emotional needs of MCPS students. The task force consists of board members, students, teachers, administrators, and other county officials. This comes as a result of students advocating for less school resource officers and more services for student mental health wellness.
And now, let's take a moment to focus on some lighthearted news involving animals.
I think it's fair to say that most of the news we see on a daily basis is pretty upsetting. With that, it can be hard to keep going with a smile on your face. So that's why I'm here. Hi, I'm Leo, and I'm here to give you something to smile about. To kick things off, I'd like to share an interesting story from the Czech Republic where chimpanzees in 2 different zoos are having Zoom calls. The interactions are streamed live on YouTube, 8 hours a day, every single day. It's an interesting look into the behavior of chimpanzees, and the idea is for the chimpanzees to entertain each other despite being closed off from the public. Next, let's take a look at this adorable amphibian, the harlequin toad. These guys were thought extinct since the 1980s, but were rediscovered last year. Since their rediscovery, the herpetologists at the Manchester Museum have successfully bred this critically endangered harlequin toad for the first time ever. And that's all the time I've got for now. I'll try to bring you more good news in the future. Have a great day. Try and keep smiling.
Good news isn't always life-changing, but taking a moment to focus on it can be helpful if you're trying to stay positive.
On that happy note, that's all for today's show. Check out our website at bnconline.net to submit any announcements, and follow us on Instagram at bncblair and on Twitter at bncblair. We'll be back on Monday with the latest edition of InfoFlow from home. Remember to wash your hands, avoid touching your face, and follow social distancing guidelines. Have a tremendous Thursday and stay safe, Blazers.